Whoo! What's up, guys? Welcome back to HEATSOAKED episode 9. My name is Cris. This is KT. I want to shout out to everybody who's liked, subscribed. Thank you guys for the love. We got a special one for you guys today. We're going to have some fun. KT, what's up, man?
Yeah, so today we're going to be talking about your first project car and our first.
Oh, yeah. We're gonna share some stories, share some love, share some mistakes. Well, as KT likes to call it, lessons learned. And I agree with him because we all have lessons we learned in some bad and fast decisions. But yeah, let's get into it, man. So everyone dreams, right? We all, some of us, want expensive watches. Some of us want, the flights. Some of us want nice cars. Growing up, that's exactly what a lot of us wanted. And I'm sure I'd share that sentiment with some of you guys out there loving that. So I would tell you that for me, it's something special to own a car that says it's just for a project, just something that I can build. It's a blank sheet of paper that I can adapt or mold or do whatever I want to do and make whatever color. I think it's special. I think it's something that means a lot. But let's get into it. We broke, son. So we gotta make sure we have enough exactly of where we're going to make it familiar. So let's get right into a first step. You're looking for a car. You got to figure out what's going on. But let's look at what's gonna really hold you back from everything. Let's look at
Money.
money.
Yeah.
All right, let's look at that budget. KT, what do you think about that, man? I think budget is a huge topic
Oh, yeah,
when it
for
comes to
sure.
that, right?
It's a really big first step that drives a lot of things.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, if you don't have the money for what you want, you can't do what you want, right?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. You can't pay your bills. I don't expect to see you in a Corvette,
And we know that as car guys and car girls, we have lives to live. We need roofs over our heads,
Yeah,
things like
yeah.
that. We need food on the table.
Yeah.
But cars, I think that comes third. A lot of people say that will come first.
Yeah.
We're responsible adults in our 30s, so there's a difference in our life. But
Try to be.
point being, it relates to the stage of your life that you're in, right?
Yeah, very
If
much.
we think back when we're like teenagers or 16, 17 years old, we first got our driver's license. We first started driving. We're still living with mom and dad. They're probably buying our food for us. Maybe you get a part-time job and you're making a couple $100, a month.
Yep.
But at that point, a couple $100 a month, you save up a couple months, you could probably get yourself a nice little car, right?
Yeah. I mean, these days, with gas as expensive it is, a lot of guys are, a lot of those trucks right now are losing value because it's expensive to maintain, expensive to keep. If they're just sitting there on the side of the road here, it's one of those things where as a kid now thinking back, man, how many different decisions we could have made if we had the cash, if we had saved a couple more hundred, if we could, live out that. And it's also a memory like, hey, it depends on where you're at and your stage of life, right? Budget's not just about how much money you have. You like in the wise words of, oh geez.
Oh, Biggie Smalls.
Biggie.
More money, no problem.
That's where I was going. Oh my God, dude, you gotta kick me in the face.
That's fine. You're not from New York. So.
You know what? I'm not, but I should have remembered that because Biggie is the greatest, man. More money, more problems. All right. So sometimes you could be making a great amount of money, but if you're eating out every day, your lifestyle, you got a lot of expensive bills, a high mortgage or even higher rent. You got a girlfriend you're trying to impress and you're buying her stuff every day. You might be negative in that bank more than you think. You could be someone in high school working a part-time job, really focusing on that first car or saving up to get some independence. I know that's something that I did. And, you're just not making that much right now. That all comes. It's all about what your purpose is and what you're actually focusing on with this budget. So it really comes back to your stage in life. Where are you at? You're not the millionaire, single millionaire in an apartment. You could be on either end of the spectrum. So I guess my main focus is, hey, depending on what stage in life you are, whether you have time. I think I was telling you about another philosophy, right, that we were talking about is, hey, when we're young, we have plenty of time, no money, and what I say, plenty of energy.
Yep.
Right. And when you're in our age, you have money, you have no time to do anything else, and you have
Still have the energy.
And then when you get older, right, you have no energy, you have all the money, and you got no time. There's always something that you're going to miss out on. So something you always got to focus, and getting all three at once is going to be a challenge, but it's also comes back to that budget piece. Hey, what are we really focusing on with this? Where are you coming from? It's okay to come from $1,200 and start a project. It's gonna be fantastic. It's slug bug season in Florida, guys.
Yeah.
If you don't know what those are, you'll see them flying around our camera the whole time. It's don't worry about it. It's literally a thing. But we are the Australia of the United States, and it is here. So let's talk about income, right? And another thing about budget is, so how much you're making doesn't necessarily portray how much money you can put towards it. Don't forget, we all got bills in life, right? So, I mean, we experienced it, right? We got a couple things, but also how much space do you have? How much knowledge do you have? A lot of these things are really gonna start focusing on that budget piece. Like, all right, if you invest a lot, you might not have to have all that knowledge. If you invest a little, you might have to learn, do research, right? And I think for that last piece, you were talking about
it ties into your lifestyle, and it also ties into the purpose of the car.
Absolutely.
So when we talk about budget, we're talking about just money. That's the most easiest way to think about it. But all those factors that Cris just described, it really drives your budget. It drives how much money you want to spend on a car, how much money you can spend on a car.
Absolutely.
But when you start factoring in lifestyle, right? So if you're the type of person who likes to live in a really nice place, well, you probably are going to end up spending a little more money on where you live. So that's a little less money on your car, or maybe less money on eating out. So when you decide, what type of lifestyle do I want to live? What type of lifestyle do you want to live? It helps you also determine, all right, the money that I make is going to go towards some of those lifestyle things. And ultimately, how do I allocate enough to get into the hobby of cars?
Correct.
And then we talk about purpose. So, are you just driving this around as a daily driver every day to work? Are you making this a track rent?
Trying to show off a little bit, you said track ready.
Drift car.
Yeah, we all know tracks are not cheap.
Yeah, it depends on what you want to do with the car, because the purpose of the car really does drive the budget too. It's very expensive to build a full-on caged race car. But then you think about it, how often are you actually going to go to the track? There are people who want to build track-focused, track-ready cars, cages, bucket seats, full $3,000 suspension system, and they only go to the track once a year.
We're talking 10 grand before they touch the motor. Like, I'm being nice. That's a used 10 grand, used seats, used suspension. Like, this is not new stuff. If you invest 10 grand, sometimes with the safety nets you need for the track, you got to pass spec. You got to pass all that tech stuff. So
maintenance too.
Maintenance is super important. No leaks on the track. That's a big thing, and to maintain the tracks around here. And I think KT comes with a really good point. Like, what's the purpose, right? Like, here's how I always said it, and we talked about this, and this is a pretty good one. What kind of tuna are you eating? You eating the canned one, or you eating fresh? Like, you eating sashimi over there? It's all about where you come from with that. But a lot of car guys I know will sacrifice and make sure, hey, they're cooking that meals at home. They're, making sure they're sticking to that budget, so that way they can put that percentage towards that project and make sure to make it happen. That's that reality of real life that you guys won't really see when you're looking at some YouTubers that are throwing, tens of thousands and millions at cars overnight. It'd be absolutely great if we all could do that. In reality, some of us have to make sure we earn that 9 to 5. We earn that money daily and allocate that money towards small parts and now and then. Then we just have to make it happen. It's part of life.
You have to be responsible with your money. We're not a financial podcast.
Yeah, well, definitely not. You don't have to be responsible. Don't listen to us. But it's not our fault if you don't listen. I've been irresponsible and I've been responsible, so it doesn't matter either way. We know it. So let's talk about the next part of it, man. We talked a lot about budget. We talked about that stage in life, that income space. Talk about that lifestyle, the purpose. What are you actually doing? Like, what is this? Why is this important to you? You want a project car, sure, but why is a big question. But the next question after budget is, all right, you want one? Yes or no? Yes. Right? All right, I got some money put away. Okay, cool. How much money you got? Which direction are we going in this next step? Are we going built or are we going bought? And let's talk a little bit about that right now. Man. That's a huge thing that in the car culture where we fight against, right?
We are both proponents of building cars only because we both love to wrench on things.
Absolutely,
and
man.
We love to express ourselves just through our cars. But
Yep.
You probably don't like to say it, but I'm okay with people buy, their own fully built cars, right?
Listen, I'll be that guy. All right. Listen, it makes me. It actually funny enough, when I was younger at car shows, all the wrenching you did, and then a guy would show up and be like, "Oh, I'll smoke you," just because you could spend more on your car. Yeah, it's a little frustrating after people see the effort because people don't see all the
Mhm.
hours you spent underneath a car, all of the maintenance you did, pulling an engine, re-putting it back in just to, show up at that night. And then some guy, some rich kid shows up at with a Viper
Yep.
and you're fresh in high school. You're like, what is life right now? Is that even fair? Like, cause that should be illegal. But it's as I've gotten older, everyone comes from different places and I've learned to appreciate that there's good things and bad things on both sides of it that we've really learned and really focused on. And it's interesting, right? It's something you got to come to peace with. But again, I'm a proponent for building cars. At the end of the day, this could look like shit right now. Give me some time.
Yeah, the memories that you worked on
Oh
it,
yeah, absolutely. The,
uh,
the way you guys see it now, it's not going to be what it's finished at.
the busted knuckles, the scars all
Yeah.
over
Oh
your
yeah. Oh
body.
yeah, man. Like I do not have beautiful, beautiful hands. Mine are, calloused, wrenching, but bleeding, cut, oil everywhere. You
It's
know,
the stories.
it's it.
That's what it is.
It's exactly right. But it's also what's led to us into that community that we talk about, those friendships, those things, the conversations. It's
The
how we.
relatable aspects of
Yeah.
what you did on this car, this other guy down the road did
Yeah.
on his car, even though you both 2 different people, 2 different cars, but
Yeah.
you both, changed the timing belt.
Yeah, exactly, right? Well, and it goes to effort, right? And I think a lot of people have a misconception is you can have effort placed in two different directions. You can place it towards self effort, where you do it yourself, right? You do your own work, or you have effort placed into a item, right? And that's something that I feel like once you pour your blood, sweat, and tears into something, you have it becomes like a soul. It has its own
Mhm.
life. You know what I mean? You see the beginning, you don't see the birth, whatever like that, but if you're just paying for an item, it doesn't have all that. It's just, all right, that's just a car.
But if we talk about it from a practicality aspect,
Correct.
if you know what you want out of a car, if you want that daily driver, but
Yeah.
that's fast, that's nice, that's comfortable, sometimes building that is not the best route to go.
That's right, man.
If it's just easy enough to go buy that Audi, then
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You're 100% right. Like, and like, it's based on, what you have in life at the moment, right? Like, all right, if we're building, do you have the skills? If you don't, you can learn, but you guess what? Once again, back to this word effort. You're gonna put effort in it. Do you have the patience? Once again, back to the word effort, because now you have to like self reflect on what you're actually doing, and yeah, that takes a lot of effort. And your lifestyle, yeah, it takes effort for that to make sure you're focusing on your bills. It takes effort to make sure you're focusing on like actual life itself, but not letting it pass you by. Are you okay with eating a couple tuna sandwiches, for lunch during the week, to make sure you save enough to put away for that next part, that next part, that next part? And it's patience. It all just leads through that. All those things, that budget, those skills, patience, that lifestyle, all those things are super important. And of course, there's tons of videos out there right now about buying your first project car. Do you have what I'm not going to get that much embellished. This is real life. Like we've had project cars and I've made tons of mistakes. So has KT, but getting to that built not bought section, I think you had a good, real point. Sometimes you want a project car, but you want that comfort. I'm telling you, bucket seats, they're not made for comfort. Some are, don't get me wrong, but you're spending a high dollar for that. But I've been in some full metal bucket seats, what it feels like at least, and they're not comfortable. And guess what? I drove that car every day for like 3 years, and it was rough. But sometimes buying from factory, buying from the dealer and going up and finding that classy luxury option, having that working AC, don't have to rip it out of the vehicle to get a couple horsepurs, and go from that. But if you're going build, right, you have to really start going into focus. If you're going into bot, you're really going into something a little bit different of a world. And out of personal experience, don't have that. I haven't really bought too many things that are just the same. Maybe for a car for someone else that I've helped purchase and things like that because they had a different purpose out of it. But for built, man, what do you got to do to really get into it?
Yeah, if you're building your own car, you got to really understand what you're doing, and if you don't, well, there's a ton of resources available, and you have to at least be willing to understand. You have to be willing to put in the time, put in the effort, and ultimately put in the money on top of the money you already spent buying the car.
Wait, there's more money to build a car? No way.
If you didn't know already, cars are
Pain.
gigantic money pits that you might as well just light money on fire.
Yeah, just buy an old Toyota Corolla.
I mean, but for real though, like this, it's a hobby. Like any other hobby, you're doing it for the pure enjoyment of that hobby, right? So for us, we really enjoy cars, the art of cars, the mechanical aspect of cars, the engineering of cars, the driving experience of cars, all of that. We covered that on our very first podcast.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if you go into the bought route, there's nothing to say that you couldn't modify your purchased car either. There's people that do that, right?
I know. Like AutoZone has some nice rim covers for those Steelies. For those nice those Nissan Altimas, man. I mean, they have plenty of stuff. I mean, and that's what brings it back to what we talked about in the first time. Personalization of cars is effort everywhere. Some people don't care about that. The car culture is a car culture because we have these wants, we have these needs, we pour ourselves into these vehicles, but that's because we want to do it. It's something that we care about and we enjoy. Some people have had, I've seen the same car for 20 years and they're like, I'll just buy a new engine. I'll buy a new transmission. I'll buy a new drivetrain. I don't care. That car is going to run forever.
Yep.
I don't hate on it. Listen, if you appreciate that car and that car just has a lot of memories and it's got a lot of value to you, even if it's not resale value, that's a value that, you might have built a family in that car. You might have, lived a life, driving around through it. People have that sentiment, the sentimental value is the right way to put it, to really choose that. And when the car culture, I think that's where a lot of it comes from, to be honest with you. Like after all that effort, after everything, that's that pride. And that's why we get kind of offended when we see those people pull up, right? When those bots, at the end of the day, it's leading back to that built section, that bought section, depending on what that budget is, depending on where we're going.
Your practicality. What you need that car for.
What do you need? Do you actually need a car? If you don't, like, let's start checking boxes and checking everything like that, right? So do you want a car? All right, we already checked the box. Yes, we want a project car. What's your budget look like? All right, are we doing fantastic? Are we doing okay? Or are we like, hey, maybe we should not think of a project car and pay our rent? There's different things that we're going to get into. And funny enough, man, I've seen all three. Let's check the box, staying in the middle. All right, cool. You got a little bit of money put away. All right, cool. You're going to buy something that's freshly just stock. It's got like maybe 90, 100,000 miles on it. Nothing's done to it. Or you're going to buy like someone's already
a rolling shell, a rolling engine.
Are you going to find that diamond in the rough, that Charger everyone's been looking for, for it's $80,000 for the rolling shell. That's the option that we're going into. And that's the excitement we want to bring to this, is like, there's so many options. There's so many things you can do. But finally, after you've been through that section, you checked all these boxes, this next step is going to be, oh man, one of our favorite games we used to play driving around in arcades. Choose your ride.
What you were doing like a month ago while we were sitting on your couch?
What we did a month ago while we were sitting on my couch. Exactly. Literally like scrolling through Marketplace now. No. Oh, okay. All right. Let's try that one. All right. It's messaging your friends, car parts, funny memes about cars. Like it's
honestly one of the best parts about this whole process that we're outlining, right? Nobody likes to talk about money.
No. Yeah, absolutely.
It's the worst.
It's the boring part. And let me tell you about not reality, where we all have $1 million and can do what we want. But choose your ride, man. Like you were saying, best part.
Yeah, the best part of and it goes back to the steps that we just visited, the budget and the purpose. So you already know your budget, you already know your purpose. Now you just have to identify the cars that fit into both of those categories, right? So it does take a little bit of legwork for you.
Absolutely.
A little bit of internet research, talking to people, all of that stuff. But
Yeah.
basically figure out a list of cars that fall into that bucket. Now, what I think it's really fun and interesting is you go online and you do your research and you find a couple of these cars that everybody says to get, right? A Miata is like one that everybody says to get, no matter your budget, no matter your purpose. Like daily driver, Miata, track car, Miata, drift car, Miata. But the fun part is when you start thinking
Miata
outside the box.
Basically, what we've led to is Miata guys are fucking nuts, dude. Like, I love you guys to death. I do not hate the car. I actually enjoy it a lot. You guys are fucking wild, man. Stop with everything. Just it's a small 2-seater, go-kart. We all know
Pretty
it.
much,
all right,
yeah,
we'll just let's just lay it all on the table here. All right. I'll leave you be for a second. I'll stop interrupting you.
No, but finding those non-traditional options too, right? So for me personally, when we're talking about like little small 2-seater sports cars and even in a convertible, this example, people immediately think of Miata. That's like the first one.
Yeah.
But then S2000, right? That's another option.
That's that.
A little pricier, but it's there. And then the Z3, there's a convertible version of the Z3. Not too many people think about that, or maybe they forget about it. Even the convertible 350Z, which is horrible, but I don't know why you would buy one. But people, you should know that's an option.
Bad decision. Don't listen to KT. Bad decision.
A convertible M3?
It's an option like, oh my God. Like a clown shoe's an option. Listen, it's fantastic to be riding in the mountains and all, the Touge and everything as we talk about it, right? I wouldn't get a convertible.
Thinking outside the box, searching outside the box is kind of what takes your process to the next level.
It is. It's all about the options, right? It is all about those certain things.
Yeah, you could come across a car that you never really thought came to the forefront of your mind.
Yeah.
But in your process of research, you find something on a Reddit forum that someone's building.
That's true.
This one-off weird car, or just this not so popular car, but it has all the requirements that you need on paper, and you're like, wow, I didn't even think about that. Like, let me dive into that a little more.
Yeah, that's a really valid point. I mean, it's like everyone has these different thoughts, and I think this is another thing that I really enjoy, other than the engineering of cars. How they work, how they operate, how they, what they do, and what they do for us. Like a car could be a lifesaver for many, it could be the end of times for others. But funny that you get into that, because that is one of the main factors of what surprises us every day. Like we look at builds, we look at everything all the time. But here's the fun fact about cars that everyone talks about but really doesn't get into. I could have this engine, I could have 5 of them, and I can do different things to every single one of them. It just depends on where you come from, what your imagination is, and what you want to push out of it. You can do a 1.5 JZ, like that's an option. There's a lot of different things and a lot of different characters that develop cars and have these awesome ideas, and I think that's where it comes from.
And that's a great example too, because in our generation, the Supra is a sought-after car, right? The Mark IV Supra, and part of the reason is that 2JZ engine.
Yeah, Fast and Furious, we know.
But this car, it does have a 2JZ, but now it's not the same exact GTE.
Yeah.
But there are people who swap that GTE into this car. So if your purpose is to have a 2JZ, and you're thinking the only way I can get a 2JZ is a Mark IV Supra, well, you can actually stuff that thing into an RX-7, an IS300. You can do a lot with that engine.
I think there's and we'll hashtag it on the video, 2JZ the world, man. It's like they're in Mustangs, SN94s, they're in every single car, I guarantee you, has been swapped. I've seen trucks. I've seen just insane go-karts. I've seen, old school resto mods with them. It all really depends on what we're doing, and that's kind of what we're doing. When you can choose your ride, you can choose whatever you want. You can start with a rolling shell, start with an actual vehicle. And it's really comes down to the main question is, what is the purpose of that, right? What is your purpose in this vehicle? And that's going to be the most important thing. I mean, would you agree with that? So, I mean, what are you using the actual car for? You wanted a car. All right, that's step 1. We already figured that out. Got some money for a car. It's step 2. We got it. You're going to build it or buy it. It's up to you. We no judgment, but I'm judging. What are you using it for? You want to look cool? You want to drag? Do you want to drift? Do you want to just have a nice street car? Do you want to go to car shows? You want to get the ladies with it? Sorry, that last one doesn't work. We tried. But what do you want to do with the car? Is there a function? Is there something you want out of it? Is there a goal? What is there with purpose that is going to lead back to this? And what you want is really going to lead to what? The requirements, those mechanical requirements of the car. So what options do we have here?
Yeah. So we touched on the 2JZ example, but engine's a big one, right?
Yeah,
Engine's
huge.
the most obvious one.
Huge, absolutely.
How much power do you want? Is there a particular engine you actually want?
Yeah.
Is it like how fast do you want to go? How much torque do you want? Do you want a V8, a V6,
Exactly,
a turbo?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, there's so many options, but that just helps you narrow down your selections.
Yeah.
Right. And then we can get into other things like transmission, automatic transmission, manual transmission. Do you want upgraded suspension?
Yeah.
There's so many different aspects of it now. There's a lot of different rabbit holes you can go down too. And then if you're going into the built route, you know, your options are a little more endless in that case.
If anyone knows that a family tree looks like, right? 2 people and then branches off to the kids. Basically, car parts is going to do almost the exact same thing, except you're going to have like 5 different things that branch off from each car part as you go. So this can get complicated quickly if you let it overwhelm you. But like I said, and like you were saying just now, and I appreciate that, is like, what options are you looking at? Don't let yourself get overwhelmed. Focus on your goal and find out the steps of how to get there. I have an Excel file telling me exactly what I need to go ahead and get every part for this vehicle going. I don't like the numbers I'm seeing. It hurts my feelings. KT has the same thing. We always want to make sure we're organized because we have done those things in the past where we weren't. And I forgot a part after swapping a transmission already.
It's bound to happen too.
Yeah,
but it sucks when it happens.
When
right?
you forget the clutch.
I'm like, I'm ready. I'm on a Saturday morning. I'm ready to go out there, do my brakes. I forgot to brake pads.
Yeah, exactly. Or brake fluid, and you're like, man, like nobody knows that feeling better than car guys. Is the fact that you are just like, you waited all week to do something. You get out there and you're like, I forgot this small detail, or it could be a big detail.
I think that brake pad example was pretty bad because if you
funny.
forgot to buy your brake pads and you're planning on doing a brake job,
pretty hilarious.
But we get the idea,
right? I'm kind of curious what else you're forgetting lately. Gotta check that memory of yours, man. But yeah, so mechanical requirements: manual, rear-wheel drive, all-wheel drive, front-wheel drive. Let's start getting into the craziness. Like you were saying, V6, 4-cylinder, V8, V12, V10. Let's start going to crazy, you know. Are you going to chance it with something newer turbo? Do you want naturally aspirated? Are you good with diesel? All of these branching options for engine, transmission, drivetrain, differential. You could every step that we go for the type of motorsport that we want to do. For example, drifting, need a certain suspension. Drag, you need a certain suspension. Every single motorsport that we have, you can utilize one set for everything if it's adaptable. Of course, we've known some great companies. BC's doing that. TN's doing that. A lot of really good companies that's really setting up. We can have been able to adapt into different motorsports or have a not an
like universal style.
Yeah, I guess a universal style.
And you can never really have a universal part that does everything, but as best as you can, because you're not going to want to swap from your street coilovers to your track coilovers. I mean, some guys do that, but I mean, do we have the time to do that? Probably not.
We don't.
Yeah.
I can tell you that. The next ones I get for that are staying in there. But and that's where it can go when you're choosing your ride. Like what's important to you, and to know your goal with your vehicle is actually the most important thing for you, and something that we want to pass down to this next generation or anybody trying to buy a car. It doesn't matter, you know, age, ethnicity, anything. We want to make sure that you have this goal in mind at all times and understand what's going to work best for you in the area you're going to. And also, what challenges, what expectations you're really going to visit. Like, what is going to be your expectation of the car when you finally get it? Like, do you think that you're going to do what you're going to do with it as soon as you pick it up? If it's just to have something reliable, we call it an A to B. Turn the key, it turns on, put it in gear, it goes in gear, drives, you fill it up with gas, you pay your insurance bill, you change your oil, and you're done. Sometimes we just want that. Get it as simple as that. And sometimes you can do that project from there.
Does it work with your lifestyle, right?
Exactly.
If you want a really simple A to B car and you can afford it and you don't care for like the track focused ability or any of that.
Exactly.
You just want something that gets you where you need to go, and you want something that's efficient too. Maybe you end up getting a hybrid, maybe you get an electric car, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
there's all those factors that we talked
Yeah,
about
yeah.
constantly, but it all goes back to how it affects the way you choose a ride.
Yeah, 100%. And leading, so now what? We've had a goal. You want a project car. We're leading down all of these things to really talk about the mistakes we've made, right? And the fun things I have. From the very first car I bought, of course, you know, I bought a Tacoma stick shift. It was a single cab, and it was the first truck, you know, one of the first vehicles I owned, and basically it was an A to B car. Did it get me to work when I was back in class and trying to get, you know, get my independence when I was a kid? Absolutely. Did it cost me more than I thought a car would? Absolutely. I didn't know that a transmission would cost $2,000 to rebuild. It hurt my feelings. All my summer money going out the window, you know, everything that you've saved up to, like, man, you know, I'm gonna put a lift in this thing thinking you're cool, and you really just broke. Like,
Yeah.
but you know, it's funny when you start doing this project car thing, and as you go into cars and motorsports, you actually find out what you like the most out of it. And something that I enjoy is the lessons I've learned out of it. And I will tell you, the patience is a huge one that's come out of this. And really, like, we talk about the culture very often. It's the people in it, man. It's the people that lend that ear. It's the older guys, you know, old generation, always giving us, you know, advice on something small that they could hear while you're driving by. And they're like, hey, check this out. This might help you out with some little things. Always pay attention to that advice wherever you go. Sometimes it's unsolicited. Sometimes they don't mean well. Most car guys will mean the best for you and try to help you out. On our multiple project car histories, man, start me out, KT. What's going on, man?
Yeah, I mean, I have a long history of project cars,
Same,
but for me, it started when I was in college. I got an NA Miata. It was a 92 1.6 liter.
He's one of those guys.
Yeah,
He's one of those.
I'm a
I was
Miata
talking
guy.
about him earlier. Him.
Once you get into Miatas, it's really hard to not ever be out of Miatas. I don't own a Miata today, but
so it's a cult.
I still
That's what you're
appreciate
saying.
them.
It's you're part of the Manson family at this point.
Well, I bought my Miata as a junker. It was $600, and this was, you know, like 15 years ago. So
Yeah,
it's a long time ago.
long time ago, back when cars were reasonably priced, and
but
gas was under $2.
It was running, and it had the potential. I saw it, and this was my first project car too.
Fair.
So as a college student, you know, I'm in my late teens, early 20s. You know, so my first real car, and I had done a little bit of research up to that point, because one, it was a cheap car, and two, everyone said Miatas are so easy to work on. They're so fun to drive. So it just made sense as someone who didn't really have much money.
Yeah.
So I picked up that car. I actually built that car for about 4 years before I sold it. But it was my real first introduction to building cars. And I had a semblance of a plan. You know, if I think about it today, 15 years later, I was like, if I wanted to do a certain thing with that Miata, make it a track Miata, you know, I know exactly how to do that today.
Yeah.
But when I was into that project for the very first time as a young adult, you know, it's more like, oh, I got this slightly running car. I want a little more power. I want it to look a little cooler because it was all faded paint, and, you know, it's like 100 horsepower at the wheel. so the purpose was different back then.
Yeah, for sure.
But the idea was the same. It just wasn't as refined, right? So I had a goal in mind. I had a budget. I found the car that I wanted, and I slowly went down that rabbit hole.
You wanted to build it. You didn't want to buy it.
Getting parts,
you couldn't buy
researching certain parts. But I think ultimately it just takes a lot of experience and repetition in life. And I know you and I are both fortunate to have owned multiple project cars. There are people who only own one project car, and you know, maybe they bought the car that they loved and they would never want to do away with that car.
Yeah, absolutely. I know plenty of people like that. Yeah.
But our experiences through those multiple cars throughout our life just teaches us how to better refine the next project that we dive into, right?
100%.
So from my Miata, I ended up turbocharging that car. I got it repainted, everything. I didn't do the suspension or anything on that car, which, you know, today, that was actually probably be the first thing I would do on a car. But the first thing I did on that car was build the engine. But it was fun. I got to pull the engine. I got to research an aftermarket turbo. I didn't just go on eBay and buy the
Back on
the
the World
kit.
Wide Web over there.
I sourced my individual parts. I got my
forums. You were on
I got
forums
my
doing your studies. And
turbo. I got my injectors. I bought everything piece by piece.
Yes.
But that was part of the fun.
Yeah,
For
absolutely.
me, that's why I love cars. Like building your own car,
Yeah.
doing that research, that hobby, all of that is, that's why I enjoy this. So fast forward a little bit, I ended up selling that Miata. I'm eventually into an S2000. So a very similar style car, but that car had a different purpose. At that point in my life, I was kind of transitioning into trying to get into more motorsports type things. So like autocross, track days, things like that. So I never really touched the engine on that car. All I did really was slap an exhaust on it, put on some really sticky tires, and just went to town.
Well, it was an S2000, man. You can just pump it up and go. And that thing was that's a beautiful, beautiful car. I don't blame you for that.
But my point ultimately is just between those two cars, and then of course my IS today, which has a whole different purpose as a drift car build. But between those different cars and between those different stages in my life, I've kind of tailored how I wanted to build my cars to fit exactly what I wanted to do and how that car can achieve that goal.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, that's you. You hit the nail on the head. It's to the point. It's exactly what's going on, and not even disagreeing with you or like, but understanding. And we come from two separate worlds. We two different areas. Before we met, we had no idea about each other at all. So it's just one of those things where that is the factor. We're still doing the same thing, not knowing anything about each other, but the main thing is like even the difference from my project car when I had my Honda Accord V6, right? Trying to figure out what I can do to tune it and higher injectors, adjust the timing, maybe do some little things here and there, put a VTEC controller on it, so it hits at 2, and I'm just doing this every time I go by. But just making sure like from there to my buddy working on my buddy's sorter and almost buying his Spoon Prelude, and like putting all the work into that, really like realizing that like I'm, $5,000 in and I'm like, I don't want to buy this car. And I'm like, shit, like sometimes it reaches that point and sometimes it's the mistakes that I've learned through that. But even the best examples for me, and I'll put this back to this. I had a Mitsubishi Lancer that I had turboed. It was just a crappy 4. It wasn't the Evo. It was a rally sport, nothing too crazy. And basically, excuse me, rally art, whatever you want to call it.
Rally art, yeah.
And just had done nothing crazy to it. Injectors, turbo, valve cover gasket, didn't even no ARP bolts, no nothing crazy. I blew that motor and I just got the car and it was fun because I didn't care. I was like, it blows up, and I scrapped it. But I was at a time in my life where I had other things going on, and once it blew, as much as the luckily I didn't put too much into it, but I knew that the next vehicle I wanted wasn't a front wheel drive. It wasn't an all wheel drive either. I wanted something rear wheel drive, and that's when I picked up the E36. I had my budget, I had a purpose. I wanted to build it, and I'm definitely not buying an already built, E36. I found a steal, got this car luckily for like under $1,000, which is unheard of, right? Had a hole in the floor. I was Flintstoning my way. Didn't start when I picked it up, but like you saw the potential, right?
Yeah.
Every car guy sees the potential. Like we bullshit about that and we talk about that all the time, but it's funny, right? Because we give ourselves the credit of trying to build these machines that have already been built, just trying to make them better. So it's re-engineering something, and it's actually what I enjoy about the process the most. It's finding out what they were thinking when they built it, and then having to upgrade that style or find what you consider an upgrade on that style. What I learned the best is choosing that E36 was I like to get sideways. I like to spin tire. I like a 5-6 speed manual. I like the responsiveness. I like how BMW put together a motor, man. Is it an option in the future for me to get another possible M3? Yeah, buddy. Yeah, we'll definitely be looking at that. But leading into what I wanted with this, although I didn't get a manual transmission IS from that transition, and getting rid of that car was the worst decision, right? So we talked about that on previous pods. I talked about the mistakes I've made. I invested too much into something that I didn't utilize enough of, right? And I didn't take the time or have the patience at that moment. I got rid of it. These are little mistakes we're trying to make sure that you guys are aware of, that we've learned. And it's good lessons, right? It's lessons learned that we've experienced that you guys don't have to. Now, am I stubborn? Would I listen to us? Probably not.
Sometimes you have to make those mistakes to really learn.
But leading into this is basically so Lexus and Toyota, right? So now I'm not having to buy a certain German tools or specialty tools to work on a car.
Right.
Everything can be in one toolbox for this car, 10 millimeters galore. I just bought a stack on Amazon. It was just a box 010 millimeter, I think they called it. But rear-wheel drive, strong V6, a legendary strong V6, and I got lucky with
i6.
Excuse me. I apologize. i6. You are absolutely correct. Strong i6, but it was an i6 as well on the E36, that M52. Sorry, F52 was fantastic. And basically, although I didn't get a manual, I know that the swap is just going to be worth it. I know how to make it strong, so when it gets boosted, when we start drifting, when we start doing some fun stuff, everything's going to be ready. And speaking of manual, we got some news. You can check out the social media, guys. You'll see some funny stuff coming up about the new manual that we're thinking about.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna
you're
spoil
going down that path.
Not gonna spoil it too much on that, but guys, these are just some lessons learned. You want a project car, figure out these options. These are just a casual conversation we decided, because we've had people asking us, I want a project car, what do I do? I think you helped your brother out. I help my brother out. I help my friends out. All the time they ask us to come look at things and come make sure like cars are mechanically secure. Doing that research, figuring out what you want, that purpose, that budget, that what you actually want out of the project car. If it's just the experience, sure, find something easy. Don't go Miata. That's just my personal preference. KT wants you to go Miata. I get it. Too many on the road. You guys can't drive.
There's a reason why there's so many on the road.
Oh my goodness. But that's it, man. That's pretty much all I got for this one.
Yeah. You said it best, and we're here to help too. So if you guys are checking out this podcast and you're kind of interested in what we're talking about and you just want to know a little bit more,
for sure,
feel free to reach out to us. You have our socials. We don't have to keep hashing. Yeah, we do. We gotta keep hashing it.
Liar. You suck that fell. Instagram. Check us out on YouTube, which you're already on. He took that fell.
Cloudy IS 300.
Yeah, and this is Storm
Spec.
Storm Spec is yes. Thank you for reminding me what I made on Instagram.
We're a little too humble.
Yeah, we're a little quiet today, guys. It's real hot out. The allergy season here in Florida. But I hope you guys enjoyed it as always. Let us know what you guys want us to talk about. Appreciate everybody watching. All of these, you guys have a good time, but we're definitely excited for this next part. We're going to be getting into a little bit more into this $2,000 challenge as we head forward. We talked about these last couple episodes. Maybe a little more drifting, hopefully. And,
and we're going to be struggling too, because the weather's going to get hotter and hotter now. So
if you guys don't see right now, I am sweating. But that's what's worth it, man. Like I said, we're heat soaked. This is what life is. This is how we do it. Appreciate it, guys. I'm Cris. That's KT. Have a good day.
Peace.
Peace.